Hello everybody, I think I'm live. I'm going to give the YouTubes a second to catch up. We're live, Mark. I believe we are, at least. What are you doing? That's cool.
Hi guys.
Mags for days. I'm going to wear this the entire time.
Obsessive much. Cool. Sound good.
A tight fit, that works. Good? Mark.
I was scratching my
Thanks, Mark. Get out of here. Alright, how's it going, everybody? As normal, I'm starting the show a little bit early to answer questions and do shoutouts. If you guys are not familiar, add me on my work Facebook page, which is Airsoft GI Space Dan. And usually a couple hours before the live shows, if I'm going to be on it, I'll ask you guys to post your comments and your questions and your shout-outs. So I've been doing this for the last few weeks, and it's kind of getting bigger. So this is my list of shout-outs. So I'm probably going to try to go through it pretty quick for you guys because I want to make sure you guys all get your shout-outs, but I can't take too much time. And there's also 4 pages of questions. So I'm going to try to get all that done in about 30 minutes. After that, at 4:30, we will start our normal live show. The day's topic is going to be how to build your loadout. So there is no right or wrong way to do it, but what me and Bill are going to try to do is give you guys ideas and concepts and ways you guys might want to try to formulate your own loadout. So this is actually the loadout that I set up and built for Lion Claws that I went to last weekend. Not last weekend, but the weekend before that. And so I'm going to talk to you guys about how I put this together. If you guys have seen some of my older videos with the Lancer JPCs, it's very similar to that because that was a lot of fun. That worked really well for me. This is obviously the OD one. We just got this in stock, so if you guys want the OD one, that's now available along with the tan and the black. But I'm going to shut up and we're going to go into the shout out. So I'm literally going to list this out for you guys. I'm sorry I can't make it as enthusiastic as I'd wish. But here we go. Shout outs. The 12th Hellfighters, 90-something gaming YouTube channel, the Desertion Corps, Truth GK6, Ballhawk Airsoft. They have an excellent field out on the East Coast. Check them out if you guys have not. Bone Crusher Airsoft, HVT Airsoft Team. Now, that specific team, I met up with most of that team at Operation Reclamation 3. They are a bunch of really cool guys. Check out their channel. Really, really cool guys and some good stuff. Commando Cobra from Chile. Love seeing friends from across the seas. DevTac Black Team. Direct Airsoft, Uncharted Airsoft. I hope that is based off the Uncharted series with Nathan Drake. That is an amazing video game series. Absolutely love it. Beeline for Airsoft, Island Ranger Division, Grief Company, Ghost Company, Denmark, like not a team, but like all of Denmark, so that's all of Denmark. A shout out for a viewer, Nathan, Task Force Virtus, England, N2L, which is nothing to lose, so that's kind of clever. Airsoft New Zealand team. This one's kind of funny. The team's name is Slam, which is slick like a mother. Kind of funny. All_Airsoft. Sigma 6 Airsoft in NLAW, which is North Louisiana Airsoft Warzone. And I believe this is an Instagram. This is going to be RBS_Airsoft. Check them out. This is my favorite shout out because I think Marcus is the gentleman that asked for the shout out. Marcus says, shout out to Daniel and Bob. You guys do an incredible job. Love the show. Thank you. I've had nobody ask me to do a shout out for myself. That means a lot. And Bob, unfortunately, is not here today. He is a little under the weather, but should be back with us next week. But I'm sure Bob appreciates that as well. Next shout out is for Richmond Recon CA. Combat Airsoft. There's an Instagram that you should check out, which is Grizzly_Airsoft_team. Somebody's friend is asking to check out their friend's channel, which is Tactical Donut. I love that. Tactical Donut. EAR, Delta 30 Unit, Task Force 113, Hill 559. Shout out to Disposable Heroes and Tony Pauly. They are one of our few sponsored teams here at Airsoft GI. They're a bunch of good guys. Most of them are actual military. They have been in the military or currently are in the military. So really good group of guys. They actually do some training with real guns and airsoft guns. If you want to check them out, I believe that organization is called Sparrow Aggressions. So I've seen some of their videos, and once again, they're all good guys. If you want some legitimate training with real guns and airsoft guns, check them out. So big shout out for them. 101st Airsoft, Loaded Defense Vanguard Airsoft Team from the UK. Defense Tactical LLC in Reno, Nevada. Airsoft Sea Raiders, Red Right Hand, Team Black Viper, and Dangerous Oxygen Airsoft Team. So that's all the shoutouts. I hope I got everybody. I apologize if I missed anybody. But now I'm going to jump into the questions. Okay, so that took like 2-3 minutes. I'm going to get some water really quick. Okay, so 4 pages of questions. I'll go through them kind of quick, and then we'll start the show. This is from Ryan. He's asking, can I talk about the ARX 160? I really want to know the possibilities of upgrading it. I had a chance to use the ARX 160 a couple months ago. The stock performance was impressive. The range and accuracy was definitely above a standard stock gun, so that's something that was really helpful on the airsoft battlefield. I haven't had a chance to take apart the gun internally, so I don't actually know the internals and what's compatible and what's not. So I apologize, I don't have a complete answer for that. But overall, I would recommend the ARX 160. I use the Elite version in tan, and I rocked with that. I think there's a video on YouTube, or our YouTube channel, of us using that. Kai is asking, have you ever tested out the R-Hop by Hunter Seeker, be it your own gun or someone else's? I tried doing R-Hop. I spent like 8 hours one day trying to work on one, and I failed miserably. I couldn't do it. R-Hops are absolutely amazing. What I would recommend is send it into a professional technician. Frank? Okay, Frank's not really here. He's staring at me. The R-Hops work really, really well, but you need to have it installed correctly, and it's really, really hard. Obviously, I couldn't do it. I spent 8 hours and just failed at it. So have a professional technician. Our techs here at Airsoft GI can do it, and if you guys are not familiar with the R-Hop, it's going to increase your range dramatically, so it is something that works really well. This is hard to do with Frank. Now get over here, Frank. Frank is like standing off camera, just like staring at me. I don't know what he's doing over here. Like, I want to get him here, guys. Yeah, there he is. That was Frank. Okay. Anyway, Ben is asking. Ben is planning on buying an MP9. It'll be his first primary GBB, and he's asking for advice of how to alter his playstyle. Number one, with the GBB like that, you're not going to have a lot of ammo. Thank you, Frank. You got 50 rounds roughly in your magazine, so you have to make all your shots count. So you have to maybe take a split second more to aim, but at the same time you want to stay competitive with everyone else. So when I've used a gas blowback rifle, I'm on semi most of the time, because if you go on full auto, you know, you're going to burn through your rounds too quick. And even if you, let's say you had a bunch of these mags, you know, reload time and just extra weight is kind of a challenge. So I'd say stick on semi. That'd be the first thing I'd recommend. Jeremy is saying, I'm looking to getting a Lancer Tactical Spec Ops Molly plate carrier. Can you tell me more about it before I buy it? That's a great plate carrier to start off with. Pretty basic. I like that it's a little bit lower profile, and it's not super big and bulky, so it's not going to overheat you too much. So otherwise, pretty good. All the Molly equipment should work just fine with it. Thanks. Daniel is asking, did the shout out. Oh, the question is, what is the worst airsoft gun you have ever used, fired, or held? That's funny. I think the easiest answer would be like, you know, the spring, you know, cheapy plastic guns and stuff like that too. So that'd probably be my answer. I don't have like a specific one. I do have a really old spring P99 that I absolutely love that still works today. But you know, there's a lot of like LPEGs and stuff like that you can find at Walmart and other places that just pretty nasty. Robert is asking opinions on the PTW, and if anyone in your store actually runs them. I would love to hear an honest opinion about it. I've actually never fired a PTW, so unfortunately I'm not the best person to answer that. I've held many of them. They feel extremely solid externally. They feel, I've felt some real ARs that are less solid than a PTW, just because they're like wobbly and old and stuff like that. So if that gives you any idea of the externals, I hope that helps. I don't know of anybody here at GI that runs a PTW, so I know they're really expensive. PTW is coming out with the American edition of the PTW, but that's supposed to be like $1,500, $2,000, if not more. So I mean, I couldn't honestly say if it's worth it or not, but those things are nice. Like if I had one, I'd love it. Okay, so Next question is from Jared. What assault rifle in your whole inventory shoots the highest FPS with no upgrades? I'm assuming if you say assault rifle, you mean AEG. I know there are some like A&K guns that shoot like 450 and higher out of the box. I'm sure there's some other stuff that shoots really, really hard, but generally a lot of our guns shoot right around the 400 mark, a little higher or lower. There are some spring-powered guns that shoot like 550 out of the box. If you want to go with like the Echo One, M24, I think it is. Yes, that one shoots like 550, so that one's really hard. Juan is saying, Daniel, first of all, I'd like to thank you for your advice on the build for the KWA DMR, because now it kicks ass, and last Sunday I shot a guy from 290 feet away. That wasn't really a question, but Juan, I'm really happy that I could help you out. Comments like that honestly make my day, so thank you. Griffin saying, what plate carrier would be best for someone who is pretty small? Griffin is 5'5" and is about 130 pounds. I'm 5'9" and I weigh 165, and so I would consider myself a skinnier guy in general. This is the Lancer JPC. I like this one because it's very low profile. I like that it's skeletonized on the cummerbund, so it breathes more. So this would be one of my recommendations. Other good plate carriers is like the Banshee. The Banshee one works really well. The Condor MOPC or the Gunfighter one that just came out, that one works pretty well. Those are just a few that I would recommend that aren't plate carriers but aren't like super huge. That's going to make you look like a turtle out there, Griffin. So check those out. Eddie is saying, do Ditech rails for the 416 fit the WeTech M4 SOL? No. Lucian, how's it going? He was saying, if I was going to upgrade a GBB M4, what would be a good one besides the KWA LM4? It's out of your price range. Lucian, save your money. Get the LM4. It's awesome. If not, the Tippmann M4 is coming out, but that's actually more expensive. The GBBs for an M4, the thing is, there's not too many that are really upgradable besides like the GMP Walks. Those are really cool, but they're not technically legal here in the US, which is why we don't sell them. So, I mean, I don't know if I'd want to recommend that either, but that gun is also very upgradable, so that would be another choice. Alex is saying he has an old G&G combat machine, and he's asking if he can send it into our techs and have them, and tell them I have a certain amount of money, like $500. Can your techs use that and make a custom gun from the combat machine? Yes. If you guys are not familiar, and Alex, if you're not familiar, we have an excellent tech service with amazing techs. The way it works is it's $45 for us to work on, and that's just a flat labor fee. It's not like hourly or anything like that. So if you spend 8 hours, we're still only going to charge you $45. And essentially, you just pay for parts, which is nice, and we'll just install it for you. That labor fee also includes reshimming, relubing, cleaning the barrel, and all that other basic stuff. That's an automatic. We don't even like list that. That's just what we do here. But if you have a $500 budget, what I would recommend is contact our techs via phone or email. And because I'm not a tech, I wouldn't want to recommend $500 of internal parts. Talk to them and say, I got this crazy budget, and I'm willing to put in a lot of money to make this gun shoot absolutely amazing. And tell them what you're looking for. You want crazy range, you want crazy accuracy, you want a lot of rate of fire. Our techs can, upgrade stuff, whatever you want. So talk to them, and they will recommend parts to make that happen. So it may, spend $500, may not. So I would say contact our techs, and we could definitely do that. Nick is saying thoughts on the Magpul Masada and what gearbox does it have? Love the Masada. I have one. Amazing gun. Super happy. The gearbox is proprietary. It's a hybrid between a version 2 version 3. A lot of the version 2 parts work just fine. The air nozzle is a little bit longer, so that's something different. Keep that in mind. Pearson is saying our gas SMGs GBBR is really worth it. Expensive mags, gas. Pearson, that's up for you to decide. What I can tell you is gas blowback rifles and SMGs are a lot of fun. I wish Bob was here because he is a huge advocate of those guns. It's the experience really that you're getting, and what I mean by that is when you shoot a GBB, it's kicking back and forth, and all the parts work like a real gun. So you have to hit the bolt catch, hit the charging handle, reload, and do it all over again. That's a lot of fun. But otherwise, I mean, I'd say it's up to you. Overall, I would say so. Matt is asking, what do you think of TM's new upcoming products? The one I'm looking forward to most is their gas blowback M4. I don't know if we're going to be able to get it legally here in the US, so that might be a challenge. But that's going to be kind of cool because I love their gas blowback pistols. Gas blowback M4, heck yeah, why not? Charlie's asking, what do you think of an M16 VN type, Vietnam type? I love it. Ever since the movie We Were Soldiers with Mel Gibson, which I'm a huge fan of that movie. I was watching it the other day, actually. I've always wanted to have like a Vietnam-style M16. So other than that, yeah, I'd totally love to have one. Tommy's asking GBBR or AEG. I would go with an AEG because I like to be more competitive, but I've used GBBRs in the field, and they're a lot of fun. Daniel is asking, when will the Elite Force SL14 speed loader be out? And please tell me, will you have international shipping by then? International shipping is something we are working on, but it is a bit of a challenge, so there's a good chance it may not be ready by then, but we're still working on it. The Elite Force speed loader is supposed to come out later this year. I don't have an exact release date. I want one myself because like mid-caps are dumb to load with that little speed loader. So hopefully that comes out soon. Yeah, I'm seeing some of you guys' comments. I'm not answering your guys' comments here just because we tried doing that and the scroll feed goes by way too fast. So like I said at the beginning of the show, if you guys have questions or comments, add me on my Facebook, which is Airsoft GI's Space Dan, and then I'll make a post saying post your comments and questions, and then that's where I'm getting all these questions from. So that way I can do it a little bit more systematically. Otherwise, I'll read one question, and by the time I finish that question just out loud, there'll still seriously be like 20, 30 more questions, and it's pretty ridiculous. And so the feed is just too nuts. So that's why I'm doing it this way. What do we got next? What's a good upgrade for a VFC gun? First upgrade I'd always start with is a Type 4 barrel for increased range and accuracy. So that and maybe a bucking. Charlie's asking about international shipping. I just talked about that. Andrew's talking about spray painting guns or hydro dipping guns. It depends on who's doing the paint job and who's good at it. Spencer, our tech here, does spray paint jobs, and he does an amazing job. So I mean, it really depends on the final product. Hydro dip guns, I believe, would last longer, but either or. I actually haven't painted any guns. Something I should probably look into. Caleb's asking, I've been thinking of getting a new M4. What do you think is the best out there for the money before the KWA Mod 1 and Mod 2? It depends on your budget. If you're right at that 200 budget, which I'm guessing that's where you're at because that's what the CQRs are at. If you go a little bit more, you can get one of our G4s, like the G4A1, I believe is like 210. And that gun is super solid. So I'd go with that. That's a really good choice. If not, if it's a little bit less of a budget, go with the Combat Machine series by G&G. So those work really well too. So that would probably be my high and low for like the 150 mark for the Combat Machines, and like the right above 200, go with like a G4 series. Jared's asking, what blowback recoil gun is better, the ERG, the Bolt, or the Lonex? Whew. I've done like unofficial testing, and what I mean by that is like we'll bounce the guns like on the table and stuff like that and shoot the guns side by side. So by no means scientific. From what I've seen, the ERG blowback is the hardest from those guns that I listed before. I didn't like the Bolt. I felt like the Bolt one because you fired it and the gun would shoot and then you'd feel the recoil because that weight like slides back and forth. I don't know how it's designed, but it's delayed. I feel like the recoil is delayed on that. The ERG is like pretty snappy. The Lonex one was super snappy. It was not as hard as the ERG, but it was super responsive, which was fun. So when I fired on semi, I could do really quick semi shots. And when you fired on full auto, like it was rattling pretty cool. So my first pick would be probably the ERG, and then the Lonex, and then the Bolt. Andrew's asking, real steel gear versus replica gear. I would naturally pick real steel gear whenever I could, but that comes with a higher price tag. So that's the natural question of, or the natural saying of, you get what you pay for. Sean's asking, what's the best motor for the Echo 1 Platinum M4? I really like the Tinley 40K motor. I'm using that in my super skinny M4, and I'm pretty happy with that. So that's a good one. An old school one is like the Sistema Magnum, really works well. The Lonex motors are actually pretty good. So I recommend those three off the top of my head. Anthony's asking what kind of upgrade parts fit into a KJW 1911. I haven't played around with that too much internally. A lot of the parts are compatible with, or I should say some of the parts are compatible with like TM high kappa parts, so I'd look into those first. Luke is saying, what's a better support gun, the 249 or the M60? I would go with the 249 because there's variations that are a little bit lighter with like collapsible stocks and stuff like that. An M60 is huge, and I would not want to carry around an M60. So I'd go with the 249. Sidneus is asking, why don't you sell more Wii rifles? We do sell some Wii rifles. We're also coming in with train. We're getting a bunch of Wii Scars in and a couple of variations of the Wii Scars in. So the Wii Scars, let that train finish. The Wii Scar that I've checked out had a crazy fast rate of fire out of the box, like just stock, like it was insane. For a stock gun, of course. But we do carry some Wii guns. I know we don't carry a whole lot, but the Scars are actually going to be cool, so I'm looking forward to those. Matthew's asking, Airsoft players wearing military patches, ranks, and tabs. Do a lot of people wear them to Airsoft events? People usually wear, at least Airsofters, they'll wear like, fun patches that are, this is like Airsoft GI patches and stuff like that. I don't think anybody that's not in the military that actually hasn't earned the rank or the insignia, should not be wearing those ranks. I feel like that's disrespectful to the men and women who have actually earned them. I know some teams do like ranks or like fake ranks for their own Airsoft team or organization. Stuff like that's okay, but you want to be respectful of the men and women that have really earned those patches. And I know it's just a piece of Velcro, but it's something that represents a lot more. If let's say it's like a Ranger tab or something like that, I would never in my life wear one of those, even for like a reenactment. Just out of respect for them. So that's kind of just my thought on it. I don't see a lot of people doing that either, because I feel like people are on the same page as what I was just talking about. But let me know what you guys think. Do you guys feel like wearing that? I mean, I feel like that's pretty disrespectful, but that's just my thinking. Next one is Jacob is saying, would Airsoft GI install a gearbox for you and make it install a gearbox for me and make it LiPo ready if I pay them? Yeah, absolutely. Back to the tech service. If you have, let's say, like parts like a receiver and a gearbox and you want us to throw it in there for you and make sure everything's aligned properly, all you have to do is provide the parts and then pay the $45 labor and we'll assemble it, and that's it. Justin is saying, can you upgrade the spring in a Matrix M3 shotgun or in a spring shotguns in general? I don't think you can upgrade the springs, at least that I'm not aware of, so I apologize if I'm wrong on that. Jarrell is asking, regarding Thunder Bees, I've noticed they don't explode as quickly as they should. Any advice? Also, tips on gear maintenance. Here's the easiest and quickest tip that I've used for Thunder Bees anytime I use them. You have the cylinder, and then you have that CO2 cartridge, that sits at the bottom. Put a dime at the bottom of that cylinder underneath that CO2 cartridge that pushes the CO2 cartridge up closer to the nozzle, so when it pierces it deeper and it releases the air faster. That's been super reliable for me, so dimes have actually become a part of my kit with Thunder Bee, so try that out. There's other modifications you can do, like drill holes through this cylinder. Look it up on YouTube. There's a lot of how-tos and stuff like that, but that's a little more tricky, of course. Also any tips for gear maintenance? I just use, like, if it's like really dirty with dirt or paint, just like a damp cloth. I usually don't like use soap or anything like that. So I usually don't get my gear like, I don't jump in like a river or anything like that. So usually just wiping it off is fine. Plus, I like the fact when my gear is dirty, it looks kind of cooler. Dan has an Echo 1 CSR that shoots 526 FPS, and I'm currently using 3.0s. What should I be doing to take advantage to increase that accuracy? Type bore barrel, if you haven't done that already. It's stock, so you probably haven't. So yeah, definitely a type bore barrel. Get a hard bucking that's designed for that FPS, because if you have a softer bucking, it may tear over time. That'd be my first thought. That's a really hard shooting gun, so yeah, that's awesome. I'm jealous. Liam's asking 6001 type bore barrel or a 6003. I'm personally not a fan of 6.01s. Yes, they will increase your FPS as high as possible, but I have found that they don't give you as much consistency as like a 603 or a 604. So I'm more about the consistency and the range. That's just my opinion. I know there's been a lot of talk about that people love their 601, so I'm not trying to spark anything, but that's just my thoughts. Joshua, what are your recommendations for a Canadian airsofter who wants to try airsoft in California, LA, and the surrounding area specifically? I'll be heading there next month, and I want to know where I can go best bang for my buck if I rent. First of all, Joshua, I hope you stop by the store. Let us know, and maybe we can show you around the store, which would be really cool. I would probably recommend SC Village. I believe their price to play is about $30 on the weekend, and they have rental gear that you can get as well. They have a crazy amount of fields. They have the world famous SC Viper. That's a good field. Code Red Airsoft in Colton. Went there a little while ago. That one was really fun too. So I really enjoyed those two fields. Timothy Richmond is saying, I'm a big fan of you. Thanks. I'm a fan of you too. He's also saying, what's the difference between an open bolt and a closed bolt? An open bolt is where the bolt is going to be, I guess, open before you fire, and then the reverse when it's closed. So I guess I felt like that was way too simple. Colin is saying, Daniel, do you want a theme song like Bob's? Not really. I think I'm okay. Thanks, though. Aiden is asking, is there any news on the New York store? Aiden, I feel like you ask this every week, and I'll answer it every week. Unfortunately, I can't release any information about that right now, but we are currently working on the Texas store at the moment. Corbin is asking if the SMP is good and reliable. I believe you're talking about the Wolverine SMP, which is single moving part. If you guys are not familiar with this part, it's actually really cool. If you are familiar with the gearbox, this part, you take out all the internals of a gearbox and replace it with this, I guess, air cylinder unit with a hose, and it turns your gun into an HPA setup. What we seen here in the store, it works just fine. It works really, really, really well. But, you know, we haven't seen the final version of it, and we haven't had it for a long time, so it's hard to talk about reliability when we have a sample for like 3 days. So I hope that gives you a little bit more insight. It's good from what I've seen so far. We got 8 minutes and almost done. We're doing this. We got this. Curtis is saying, hey, Dan, I want to know what a good plate carrier is for a bigger person. P.S. I love you, Bob, and Mark. Oh, we love you too, Curtis. A good plate carrier, there is a Condor plate carrier. I don't think there's a name besides just plate carrier. This one actually has a lot of levels of MOLLE and a lot of protection. So that one works really well. The MOPC is a little bit smaller, but that's also a good choice. If you want really big, there's like the Interceptors. Those are huge. You have to have like shoulder protections and like groin protections, but that's another option as well. Eric is asking, which tactical goggles would you recommend in conjunction with eyeglasses? I'd recommend like the ESS or the Revision goggles, mainly because you can get prescription inserts. Now those are like literally inserts inside the goggles, and then you have to get, you know, specific lens for it, so that is the most costly, but that works the best because you don't even need glasses. You just put on the goggles and I guess has the internal lenses which act as glasses. I saw a guy at Line Claws do that, and he was just raving about how much he liked it. So he had the ESS ones. I know Revision has those inserts as well. I'm blind as a bat. That kind of sucks, so I wear contacts constantly. So contacts, I guess, is another option. If not, there's like save face masks, which you can wear glasses over those, and a couple other goggles. So check those out. Tall is saying, hi from Israel. Hello. And what do you guys think of Israeli weapon platforms like the Tavor, the Desert Eagle, the Uzi? I actually had a chance to fire a real Uzi a couple weeks ago. It's on GITV Uncut, so go check that out. That was so much fun. That was awesome. Yeah, I definitely like those kinds of guns. The Tavor is really cool because it's a bullpup style. It's a little bit bulky. But otherwise, yeah, I think they're cool and they're unique and different. So I know since we're here in the U.S., they're not as popular, but I personally like them. I think there's some cool guns and they're definitely more unique. Daniel is, not me, another Daniel, is asking, hey Dan, how much are you loving 24 right now? Kind of sad we haven't seen the USP Compact once. I know, I think he's probably going to use like a P30 this entire season, from what I've read. So it's nice that it's still H&K, but I think he retired that USP Compact. But did you see that last episode last week, or yesterday? I'm not going to ruin anything, but I thought it was cool. It was kind of intense, and I want to see a little bit more action, I guess. This episode was more actiony, but I feel like they've been kind of stringing us along a little bit, so hopefully it picks up a bit more. Zach is saying, a shout out to Richmond Recon CA. And do you have an estimate date for the Crytek products, as well as any inside info on the gearbox that will be in the Strike Kit version 2? Those guns are supposed to be released in the next few months. I don't have any further details than that. Actually, no, I can't say that out loud. Okay, never mind. Internally, I haven't seen the internals either, but I know they have a kick-ass engineering team that is designing this gun from the ground up, and they have Chris's support to come out with an amazing product. So I know that's why I'm excited, and a lot of people are excited about it as well. They did do this like dry ice test that's on their Facebook page a month ago, and it was supposed to be a Crytek gearbox, and I think they put like a 140 or 150 spring in it, and then they put it in dry ice, and the guy had to wear a glove for safety. So it was to simulate super extreme cold conditions, and they shot it nonstop on full auto for like 2 minutes, and it was just, and they took it out, and like no gearbox shell cracked, and the gun was cycling just fine. So I was like, damn, that's pretty awesome. So I'm excited to see this. Matt is asking, what chrono would you recommend? I personally like the X-Cortec one. I use that one for a long time, and that's the one we use here at the range in California, which is more validation than anything else because we shoot hundreds of guns on a weekly basis through that chrono, and it's really reliable. Richard is saying, I think I may have skipped ahead in gear as I straight away got a second-hand plate carrier. I sort of feel like it's not being utilized the best, and I'm thinking of getting a cross-draw vest. Cross-draw vest more my skirmishing. Opinions. If you have a plate carrier already, especially by Pantac makes amazing products that are most of the time lifetime warranty. I feel like if you went with a cross-draw vest, that's almost stepping backwards, like you mentioned before. My first vest was a cross-draw, and then eventually I went with the Molly platform. If you have the Pantac plate carrier, the nice thing is, however you have it set up now, if you don't like it, take all those pouches off and get rid of them, and then buy new ones and set it up how you want. That's the beauty with Molly, is like, there are, I don't want to say infinite, but for the sake of argument, an infinite way I can set up, I can set up this pouch higher or lower, left or right. I can go with different pouches. If you have a Molly plate carrier, stay with that and then customize it how you want. I think that's easier because the cross draw, you might like it this season, but if you don't like it this season, the next season, you can't change it. So that's my thoughts on that. Kevin's asking AEG or GBBR. I think I answered that. Did I answer that? AEGs. Okay. Chris is saying, if there's only one loadout and a rifle you can run for the rest of your airsoft life, what would it be? I don't like that question at all, because I change my mind like on a yearly basis of like what I'm wearing and what gun I'm using and stuff. So I don't want to answer that, because that's like, it hurts my brain just trying to think about like one for the rest of my life. That's really hard. I guess it would have to be just like a really solid like M4 platform. Like even my skinny lightweight M4, like I like it, but I'm gonna start changing it because I'm already thinking about this. I can't answer that question. I quit. Adam's asking, what are my thoughts on the Apex guns? I like them. I took one to SC Village a couple months ago. There's a video of me just tearing people apart with it. The range on it specifically was surprising. Oh, I know why. Because the hop-up unit had that dial mechanism instead of the wheel. That's my attempt at making a dial. And yeah, I would definitely recommend those guns. I know a lot of them are out of stock at the moment, but hopefully we're going to get some more in soon. Oh, that's like perfect timing. I got like 3 questions left in 2 minutes.
Okay.
Patrick is saying, hello, what is your favorite hobby or activity other than airsoft? Well, I look anything, I feel like I'm on like an interview. Like, this is like a dating. This is the question that we're going with. What's your favorite hobby or activity other than airsoft?
Oh, I have a very interesting one for that one.
Okay, you start and then I'll go.
Okay, little background, I used to play, I played football for a total of 8 years, and in high school, my girlfriend at the time convinced me to start doing cheerleading. Well, I continued all the way through college, and now I still continue to actually do that. So that's something I kind of do occasionally, kind of for fun, is I go to gyms, and like I'll grab one of the flyers, one of the little girls, and then I just toss them up and start doing stuff up in the air.
Check out GATV Uncut.
Yes.
There's videos of him doing that. Also, he's done like just a standing backflip, right?
Yeah, standing tuck where, well, it's been a long time since I've done it and gotten a little wider, a little heavier.
But that's
I don't know
awesome.
if I still can do it, but there is a video of back when I could do it, and it's actually kind of amazing, a piece of meat flipping like that.
For me, Jason, one of our other guys in the marketing department, he recently got me into bouldering, which is like rock climbing. If you ever go to like, I guess, Knott's or like any theme park, you have that wall with those colored things to grab onto. So it's just a wall that goes straight up with no harness or anything, and you just climb up there. So that's super fun. I like snowboarding. I want to learn how to surf. That would be really awesome.
But surfing is fun.
I gotta learn. Okay, last 2 questions. Jacob is saying, can you please say hi, Jacob? It will make my day. Hi, Jacob.
Hi, Jacob.
Hi. Milson Miles is asking, what can I do if my mid-caps are not feeding? I have 6 of them for months, and they worked great. I would hope not to buy new ones. So if they worked great for 6 months, what probably happened is they're just getting dirty or need to be re-lubed. So unless there's something seriously jammed in there, try adding some silicone oil in the magazines. We've had videos on how to do that and clean them out. Some mid-caps, for example, like this one, you can actually twist this little, I guess, line here 90 degrees, and the entire track or the spring internally will come out. And if you do that, take the spring out and all the parts, be careful. And then the best thing is get like an air compressor and just blow all that dirt out. Because if you've been using it for 6 months, I'm assuming they're pretty dirty. Try that, silicone oil, put it back together, see if that works. But I don't know if your mid-caps are like that. So hopefully that helps. And we're done with questions. That was exhausting.
I was watching. That was a lot of questions.
I was like, that was insane. Okay, welcome to the live show. This is Tuesday, June 3rd. We're in June. This year's gone by crazy
It
fast.
really has. I can't believe it's already June.
I know. But I'm going to take a breather, and Bill's going to start off the show with some great promotions. And then we got a couple cool new products, but we're also going to try to talk more about tactical gear, how to build your own loadout. So hopefully this helps you guys out, and I'll look at some of these comments. But Bill, what do we got going on here
Okay.
today?
So first thing, a lot of you have probably noticed if you've been to our website, there's always the banners up. We still have Save 14 going on right now. So on anything that is not map priced, or basically anything that can be discounted, use the coupon code SAVE14. You save 14% on your purchase, or non-map items or discountable items, etc. Another thing that we have going on that I'm really excited about is the Assault on Antioch. I'm sure you've seen a lot of our promos that we're having on Facebook, like kind of just like pushing it. The thing that's really cool about the Assault on Antioch that I really like is I'm a fan of games like Fallout. So this one is kind of more of a post-apocalyptic themed kind of game. So be expected, you know, if you go to that one, that the objectives and game types are going to be slightly different. Maybe not necessarily setting up a bomb or something, but maybe going to try and find a well that has safe drinking water or something along those lines. I'm excited about it. I just love the game Fallout, and Assault on Antioch is going to be post-apocalyptic, which always to me sounded fun. I know I've always wanted the zombie apocalypse or something along those lines, so Assault on Antioch is probably going to be the closest we can get.
You talk about I'm going to be there, Bob's going to be there.
Oh, no, I haven't gotten that far. Have we released who is the...
Me and Bob are going to be the commanders of one team, but then we have 2 celebrity personalities, Airsoft YouTube celebrity personalities, that will be hosting the other. But I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh, no, it's okay. I hadn't gotten to that far. I just wasn't sure if we released the personalities yet.
No, we have not.
Okay, it's still on the DL.
Yes.
Let's see what else. Okay, we are still offering for guns that can accept it or basically have enough room, the Burst Wizard for $20. Now, me personally, I actually have one in my M16, and it's definitely a lot of fun. I have it set up so my gun does shoot semi and 3-round burst. Plus, I have it set up so it's got my LiPo protection in it. That way, I don't have to worry about it getting too low or anything like that. Plus, all the other features it's got that automatic fuse. So I've actually had that where my gun was kind of jamming up a little bit, and it automatically cut the power so I didn't damage anything. It's got the burst function. You got the rate of fire adjustability. I know he just released a brand new one, didn't he?
It's a Gen 3 that I believe has more features into it.
Yeah, a few more features. Yes.
We're working on getting some videos or at least some information out about that. So it's just more cool stuff you can do with your gun with a tiny little piece.
So yeah, definitely, honestly, if you're buying a brand new gun for an extra $20, I'm definitely going to recommend you get it. There are so many good features for it that it's almost like, why wouldn't you get it? So me personally, I love the thing. Really cool. Love the 3-round burst. Makes my M16 a real M16.
Yeah. Okay, so next we have CQR packages. Now these are starting to run out, so if you guys are thinking about getting one, you guys might want to get one soon. If you're not familiar, the KWA CQR retails for $190 and is probably the most reliable gun internally for $200 or less. So I would personally recommend it just because it's a great gun out of the box. I know so many customers that are really happy with it. We have a package deal going on right now for $200, $10 more. You can get the gun and 3 mid-cap magazines. So each one of those magazines is like $10 a piece. So that's saving you for it. Oh, gotcha. Okay, cool. You got your plate carrier. Okay.
Yeah, no, it's right there. I'll bring it over to the other side.
Gotcha. Bill's going to gear up with me in a second, and we're going to talk some more tack gear. But the CQR package, that's a really good deal. And on top of that, if you wanted to go a little bit further, there's another package for a little over than $215. You get the CQR, 7 magazines, and some basic tactical gear, chest rig, and a battle belt. Not a battle belt, but like a belt with stuff on it. So that's a really good deal. Check that out if you guys are looking for a reliable M4 for under $200. The next big thing we have coming up is the big summer sale. So we do this every year. This sale is going to be happening June 21st at our walk-in store here in Walnut, California. I'm going to be there. Bob's going to be there. Other people might or might not be there. But it's going to be a lot of fun. It's our big event that we do throughout the summer. It's going to be 23% off most of the inventory in the store. We're going to have thousands of dollars, over $10,000 worth of free stuff that we're giving away, raffle prizes, swag, giveaways, and GI bucks. So the way it's going to work is the first 10 households...
Incoming Velcro noise.
Go for it. Okay, go. The first 10 households in line are going to get an AEG, like a full-on AEG, just for being there. So that's the first 10 households. We're also going to have our normal... rabbit hole, which it's a little box and you reach in and you pick out GI bucks. We're going to have thousands of dollars worth of GI bucks if you are part of the first people in line. So this is where people camp out and try to get there really early because you want to be there first to get the guns. $1,000 in GI bucks, and we're mixing up the GI bucks too, so you could get like 5 GI bucks, 20, 100 just from grabbing it, or you can get like BBs, gas, tack gear, and a bunch of other cool stuff. We're going to have a bunch of cool vendors that are coming out. They're going to be showing some of their products, maybe some new stuff I can't really say yet. But yeah, June 21st, it's going to be a Saturday. Come hang out with us. It's going to be a really fun day. It's going to be a lot of airsoft stuff and a lot of guns and gear.
I don't quite fit in the chair as well with this thing on.
Quite all right. Did I miss anything about the sale? I think that's it. There's more stuff, but we'll release it later. Also, for those of you guys on the East Coast, we know a lot of you guys are out there. If you're not familiar, we have our retail location set up at Chesterfield, Virginia. Awesome retail store with really cool guys. Ed, the manager out there, he has a British accent, so that's reason enough to go right there. But we also now ship from that location. So if you guys want, let's say BBs, green gas, or maybe just a quick pouch or something like that, or maybe even a gun, go to our second website at gitactical.com, and that will ship directly from the East Coast, and you can get shipping in like 1 to 2 to 3 days, depending on where you are on the East Coast, of course. So yeah, if you guys are out there, you guys should be taking advantage of that if you're not already. Last thing I want to say is we have a mystery box.
We do have a mystery box.
Mystery box, I believe it's what's it called? Gear Up mystery box, if I remember right.
Is it Rock Bottom? Gear Up?
Rock box.
I think it's Rock Bottom.
Rock Bottom. I was thinking of Gear Up because there's some cool stuff in there.
Rock Bottom.
Rock Bottom mystery box goes live tomorrow at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. That should be 8 o'clock for the East Coast if you guys are out there. It's $35, so it's really cheap. And the grand prize is a $435 H&K 416, which is crazy. So you can spend $35 and get a 416. Or the second best prize is the KWA CQR package, which is pretty sweet. But there's a lot of other cool stuff in there. There's like a chest rig, belt system, and gun bag package. There's some red dots. There's a couple plate carriers, some helmets and stuff like that. So pretty good. See, Rock Bottom Gear Up.
Oh.
It does have Gear Up in there.
Okay, my bad.
Okay, I got it right. But yeah, that mystery box, there's a train in the mystery box. There's not. There's 125 pieces. These are the mystery boxes that sell out in like an hour or two. So if you guys want to pick that up, it's only $35, and you guys can use like coupon codes and stuff.
And also, I saw there was a question on the Facebook. Someone said, "Can I pre-order it?" You can't. However, we do have a mobile site. So if you have an iPhone, smartphone, anything that can access internet, if you really want to get it, you can buy it through your smartphone. So that's another thing to note. We do have a mobile site, so just sit there
ready,
sit there right at right when it hits 5 o'clock our time or wherever you're at, and just hit buy.
Very cool. Did you get that or no?
Yeah, no, it's right there.
Ah, this is for the I gotcha. All right. So now we're going to jump into new products, and then we're going to talk about tactical gear.
Whoa.
Cool. We're doing this fast, which I like because then we can get to more questions and more topic talk.
Cool.
So we have the new Echo One ZB30. So let me pull that out, and Bill, why don't you start talking about it?
Okay, so this is an Echo One gun. It is. Let me pull up some of the specs. First thing that kind of caught my eye that's kind of crazy about this thing is, first of all, it's massive. Really big. It's obviously.
I gotta it's all right, guys. It's all right.
The first thing I noticed is, like, I mean, obviously it's a support gunner thing, but we found the specs on this bad boy. Inner barrel is 650 millimeters long. That is a huge inner barrel. Other things noted, it does have a custom gearbox, but one thing I like that Echo One did is it's listed on the site as well. Is they released along with this thing its hop-up unit. Now I know in the past a lot of like guns that have their own kind of custom hop-up unit had issues where it breaks, and then you're like, all right, cool, you know, now I'm kind of out of a gun. But Echo One's at least been nice enough that they released an entire hop-up unit for this thing, because something that's strange about it is loads from up here. So that's why you got these offset sights, because obviously you can't aim with a magazine in your way.
If you guys, actually, I want to show you guys these sights. So it's not directly over the barrel. I'm gonna have to show you guys this because this is like the coolest elevation riser. Like this style is huge.
Yeah.
Anyway, continue. And then
anyway, okay. So like I said, custom gearbox. However, it looks like it takes a standard long type motor. So that means you should be able to upgrade that if you so chose to open this thing up. I don't know. Me personally, it's supposed to be something where it's more of you spray for support, so I don't think I would really want to dive into it. I'd be afraid of breaking something, especially if it's custom. Let's see, rate of fire with a 9.6 is at 12 BBs per second, and Echo One does test all other guns with an 11.1, so if you so chose to, we don't really recommend it, but if you did, shoots about 16 BBs per second, which is, I'd say, rather respectable. Let's see, we've got, it is full, this is full metal.
It's heavy.
It's very heavy. The other thing is, it isn't, unfortunately, is this real? I think this is real.
Yeah.
Is this one wood? Okay. Carry handle appears to be real wood, but I think the stock is plastic, and I think the grip is hard to tell too. I think the grip might be real, but I don't know. Hard to tell. Either way, whether it's good, if it's real wood or if it's fake plastic. If it's fake plastic, they did a really good job because it looks like something right out of World War II.
Oh yeah,
it really does.
The engravings and the markings on is actually really cool. I'm gonna give you guys a closer look. Like that is actually really nice. Like it says Echo One right on the side, but I think it actually goes along the line. So I'm gonna show you guys this most ridiculous elevation adjustment. If you can hold the bipod, because I don't want you to drop again.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay, so check this out, guys. This thing's awesome. You see this huge wheel right here? This right here is the rear iron sight. So this is for elevation. So check this out. You turn this entire thing, and that's how you raise the iron sights.
Oh,
isn't that the most ridiculous, coolest thing ever? That is hilarious. I like it a lot. I think it's cool. So I mean, if you ever need to do elevation change on the fly, there's no way you're gonna miss that gigantic wheel.
Let's see. Oh, I forgot to also notice it does come with a battery. So that's another good thing with this, because I think it takes a kind of like an odd shaped battery that goes in the stock. So it does come with a, looks like it comes with a 9.6. Let's see, what else did they put in this battery? Oh, that's cool. So the hop-up chamber it comes with is metal, but it is pre-installed with a Mad Bull bucking.
A Mad Bull Blue?
I believe so.
Sweet. Those are really good buckings, so that means good range out of the box.
Ported piston head. Looks like it's got a version 2 style like wiring harness too.
We're going to be hopefully working on a full YouTube video for this in the near future, so I'm really curious to see the range, because this is a really unique classic gun, but the fact that it has the Mad Bull bucking pre-installed and a 650 millimeter. 650
millimeter. It's a 6.06, which is actually not the same as like a Miracle Barrel diameter.
Yes, I believe
so.
Yeah. This thing should have some crazy range. What's the FPS on it?
Where is the FPS? I want to say it's usually it should be right around the standard. Like 400.
Gotcha. We'll give you guys more details once we do the complete.
Yeah,
we just came in, so it's pretty.
Oh, here it is, 440. I can't read. So it shoots 440 FPS.
This is a crazy cool support gun.
Yeah, it looks like a lot of fun. I mean,
Absolutely.
you got this carry handle, so if you want to do some like Arnold like around the hip thing, you could do it.
One thing I like about this is that for what it is, it's actually reasonably priced. I mean, I've seen other, like, the old VFC bar was like $1,200, for example. That was the classic gun. That was really expensive. This is what, $460. So $460 for like this beastly LMG. That's really, really classic. I think Echo One did a decent job with it. We were dry firing it in the back, just doing some basic testing, and it actually the gearbox sounds clean. I don't know. There's no battery in here?
No, we took out the battery.
Okay, I got you. But watch the YouTube video we're going to do on it. We'll give you guys a lot more information, but this is a first look at it. And yeah, pretty epic. Any other thoughts?
Just heavy.
Would you use this in battle?
Actually, if I was doing like a machine gunner or something like that, especially like maybe like something classic like World War II, Vietnam, something along those lines. I think Jason was saying this isn't technically like a World War II gun. It's he knows guns that like I've never even heard of. But if you're going for a World War II, most people aren't going to point you out like, I saw World War II, guys. Most people are like, oh, that looks like what's that Japanese one? There's one that I think most people thought was Japanese one. Anyway, I would run it, especially if I was doing like an impression of something like old World War II, Korean War kind of loadout. But I think I'd definitely run it. Looks like because it's so weird, it'd be a lot of fun to use.
Imagine this gun in like a highly contested area in like a small like alley, like a bottleneck, and guys are just coming at you, and you're just like, oh, just like nonstop, suppressing them.
Yeah, that's definitely.
Like, this is one of those guns that, like, I would just shoot for, like, 5 minutes straight. Not because I can see the guys or, I'm going to hit them. Just to keep them suppressed. Like, I'll be shooting, like, intentionally at the walls that they're hiding behind. So they constantly hear the tap of the BBs. So they're just like, I'm not going around that wall. There's BBs flying at my face. So that's what this thing would be fun.
The only thing that doesn't work for me is not lefty-friendly.
Oh, that's true. Not as lefty-friendly. I don't think they thought about those ergonomics back in the past as much. You're right-handed.
You shoot left-handed, learn to shoot right-handed.
Exactly. That's, I'm sure, a challenge. But we also got some other new products in.
Let's see. These I'm actually pretty excited about. I'm excited about trying these.
Me too. Actually, I did try them, but my pop-up was messed up.
Oh, let's go. We are pulling out all of them.
Oh, I don't know if I'll pull out
all of them. Majority of them.
Bill says all of them. I must do all of them. No, I'm way too lazy. We have new Valken BBs in. Our initial tests show that these BBs are actually really dang good. They have increased the FPS slightly in some of our guns, and the range and accuracy and I think it was the consistency that Mark and Frank were saying were really good. I'm not too sure. I mean, I haven't had a chance to look at these too close myself. But this is a new line of BBs from Valken, and from what we've seen so far, they're damn good BBs.
Yeah. What I'm really excited about, though, is the fact that there are 2.8 bios. In the past, it's been very hard to find 2.8 bios. I think G&G was like the only one, and like right now, I think they're kind of hard to get. I don't know if it's they're behind or what's going on, but bio BBs, and especially in 2.8s, like 2.5s are easy, and then 2.0s are really easy, but like the heavyweights, like the 2.8s, have, for me, always been hard to find, especially if you go to an event where it's like, oh, you have to have used bio BBs. So like, oh, cool, now I got to hunt for 2 days to try and find bio BBs.
I really like the fact that when they released these, it was like a full line of BBs, not just like 2.0s, 2.5s, and you're screwed with everything else. They gave you 2.0s all the way up to 4 3s that I have in my hand here, I believe. No, 3 6s.
3 6s is that.
Oh, sorry, 4.0s. And then a lot of them available in bio. So that's nice that they came up with that full line. My gripe, which I say to all BB manufacturers, is please make heavy BBs in white.
Seriously.
Just because when you snipe, that's when you want to see the BB the most.
Well, at least if you're just so like if you got a JG Bar 10 or something, you can at least set the hop up correctly.
Yes, yeah. Like I used G4 4.0s for the longest time, which I still love, but those are orange, so those are a little bit better in the right direction.
At least they're a really bright color you can see.
Yes.
Black is your kind of, unless you got a flashlight, I think directly on it, you're going to have a really hard time trying to see it.
This is stated as tan. I'm not in camera as much. And these are supposed to be green. No, it's all right. So I think it's also because the bottles are a little bit tinted.
Yeah, bottles are tinted.
But anyway, like just white BBs. I think that's what most people
want.
Also,
it's weird. The one thing I like is they color coded them. That's the one. I don't know why. I just like, oh, so like without having to read the number, you could be like, oh, yellow's 2.8, grab yellow. For people that don't know numbers.
But anyway, BBs. Next, we have Lancer Tactical Foam Inserts for plate carriers.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, I know some people do personally like the foam instead of the hard plastic because it is more flexible. Yes, it's not nearly as realistic. We are airsofters, so we're just trying to look cool. But these are foam inserts. They're not like super squishy foam. They are flexible, but they're actually like, pretty solid.
They're the same material as I don't know if anyone else had those little like paddle boards that you would swim like this on and just kick your feet.
Yeah, like the flotation devices.
Yeah,
it's
like that same
similar
type
to
of
that. Yeah, exactly. So I mean, it's pretty solid. So you'll still get like the rigidity of it, but it is not going to be as solid as real sappy plate.
Might be nice because I could replace the cardboard ones I made myself right here.
Which I know a lot of people have done that, and I've seen a lot of people do it before. So I mean, these are pretty inexpensive and a nice option. Kind of want to throw that in and see how it feels.
They got a fun smell to them.
I don't buy sappy plates to smell them.
Well, no, I'm just getting like a whiff of it. And like, it's a foamy smell.
I gotcha. All right, so what else do we have? We have some new Tenergy power packs.
Oh, I think those are cool.
Yes.
I kind of want one of these. Okay, so basically what these things are is, let me flip it around so you can see it. It's basically a portable battery for like all of your electronic devices. The ones that we're thinking this would be really good for is like GoPros, their batteries, contours, the little cameras, especially for airsofting. Or me personally, what I like them for is I have one, not a Tenergy one, but similar, to charge my phone if I don't have a cigarette lighter plug for it. I can literally just plug in my USB cord and then plug it in my phone and it charges us out. So these, I like them just because it especially if you're going airsofting, let's say you're going to a big event like a 3-day one where you're not necessarily, you don't want to bring a generator, which A, those are expensive, B, really big, C, really loud, D, you get gassed out by fumes. You charge this up and you'd be able to charge your batteries and stuff like that, like I said, contours, GoPro, stuff like that. So me personally, I think this is a really cool little idea, and I'm kind of happy we're carrying them. I might have to pick one up.
Yeah, I am going to pick one of these up. Maybe not the specific model, but there's another one by Tenergy. It's cool that they did make it compatible with GoPros and contours if you needed to go that route. But the most basic thing is it has a USB port in here. So your phone, everybody has a phone. At least I hope you do. So yeah, you're out doing whatever and your phone's about to die. You keep this in your car or in your purse or whatever, and you just charge it super quick, and it's a nice backup.
How many
so
hours is that? Okay.
12 hours?
12 hours. This one's 20 hours.
This is 12 hours for your GoPro. That's what it's slated for. But,
Okay.
I mean, there's no reason why you can't charge other stuff that needs electricity. So, yeah, pretty cool stuff from Tenergy.
And I think that's 20. So 20. Okay, I see what it's saying. So basically, you will have more battery than probably memory in your GoPro.
Okay, gotcha.
And you have to think you're not going to be charging that thing for 20 hours straight. So
Yeah.
it might be probably more like topping it off. And stuff.
What I'm really
I
thinking
like it.
of is, for example, when I went to Line Claws, that was a 3-day event, right? And my GoPro and contours ran out of battery and memory after the first day because we were on the field for like 6 hours, and I didn't have any a laptop or anything else to charge it or swap. I had extra memory cards, which that's not a problem. You just swap out the SD cards. But for that, if I would have had that, I'll probably have to see if we can take one for marketing to use. I just charge that.
That's actually a really good idea.
Yeah,
because I think like last time when we filmed like the Hunger Games, I thought it was like, oh, the battery's dead on one of them.
Yeah. So I mean, they'll make things just a lot more helpful. This is a new scope from, I believe, Swiss Arms. This is going to be a 2.5 to 10 magnification. See if I can give you guys.
Let's see if it'll work.
Almost.
There was
Almost.
it was the
Kinda.
There we go. Right there. Hold
Got
it. Hold it.
Steady, steady. Okay, so this is the new scope by Swiss Arms. I don't have pricing on this at the moment.
It's on the side. I think it is 109.
109. Okay, so it is a little bit more expensive, but you get some cool features with it. The most noticeable feature is a leveler,
which I really like.
I
wish more scopes had it.
I think that just looks really cool. If we're talking about function-wise, I mean, your airsoft gun is going to have a hop-up, so you want it to shoot straight and be level for the best range and accuracy of use of the hop-up. So, you could ideally use that, but, I don't see a lot of airsofters being like, oh, let me check, is it level, is it level? Okay, now let me shoot them, But I think that's cool. The other thing is, why don't you explain that, because you're telling me about
Which
that.
one?
the buttons.
Okay, so instead of in a lot of scopes you guys have probably seen, it's like a knob that you twist and it changes the color of it or the brightness of the reticle and stuff like that. This one, let me see if I can get it in camera. Look at that, you got buttons. So, personally, I think if you're wearing gloves or something like that, buttons might be a little bit easier to manipulate than knobs. Because I know on some of the scopes and stuff like that, the knobs are kind of hard to turn, or you can't get enough grip on them. So I actually kind of like that it's buttons. It's got the power button, off button, and then it's got the plus and minus symbol for adjusting brightness. And then it's got a C to change the color. So, me personally, I kind of like the buttons a little bit more than a knob. What do you think?
The buttons, it's a button. You press the button, so it totally makes it easier. So I wish, scopes had more.
And it just it looks, I don't know, it just the shape of it just looks cooler.
But yeah, like that whole unit right there looks a lot more futuristic.
Yeah.
With the leveler and all the buttons. So yeah, I like it. Pretty cool.
There you go.
All right.
Wrong sides.
I got it.
Yeller goes on the part you look through.
Thank you, sir. All right, so I think we have talked about all the new products and promotions, so we're going to jump into our topic of the day, which is how to build your loadout. So, like I said at the beginning of the show, there's no right way or wrong way to build a loadout. People will obviously tell you otherwise and stuff like that too, but since this is Airsoft, everybody has different guns, different kit, different equipment, so we're going to do our best to give you guys ideas and concepts of how to build your loadout so you can make it fit for your style of play and your custom gun. Because I can tell you to buy this, Lancer JPC and set it up exactly like me, but if you have an AK, that does you nothing. So, Bill, how do you start building a loadout?
Okay, basically the thing is with my loadouts and stuff like that, it's slowly progressed with me as I play.
Okay.
You can see some old pictures of me where I'm running something similar to this, but I've got a bunch of mags here, a bunch of mags here. I got grenades up here. I just got so much stuff. And then now it's slowly evolved into, well, I don't run a grenade launcher anymore because honestly I'm getting tired of carrying that thing. It was so heavy.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, I still like to carry a lot of mags. So I removed some space up here, gave me more space for admin, so I can actually look down. I remember with the grenades, I'd have to be like, oh, I can't see down. Cool. And I've tripped over stuff before because I'm just like that. But I like carrying a lot of mags. And, I mean, the thing is, like I said earlier, is I played football for 8 years. So a lot of people are like, oh, that's so much. It's so heavy.
Mm-hmm.
To me, it's not that heavy.
Just used to it.
Exactly. I'm used to it. So it's weird. When something is lightweight on me, it doesn't feel right. I feel like it's too, bouncing around. I like having a lot of weight. And it's just kind of progressed. Example is this one is... These are my standard mags I go to. Okay, quick change. These are my, oh crap, I got to change really fast because I can pull them out really quick.
I gotcha.
So a lot of it, I used to arrange stuff on what looked cool because, I was, a little over 18 and be like, oh, I saw this in a game. This kind of looks cool. I'd set it up. And now it's progressed into, okay, let's just put what works and how. And then I just kind of stopped caring about how it looks because I think it's more of the look follows function. So if it functions well, it's going to look cool too. That's usually what I've found. And the thing is, this guy right here is still slowly progressing. My goal with this one is because this is a Spectre MPC-1. This one, it is an American-made plate carrier, so actually my goal with this plate carrier is I want to go 100% made in the USA all around. Because I do eventually, at some point, I'm going to build an AR, and I want to go and do some of those classes and stuff like that. So you got to have something, and the thing is I want something that's all US.
Gotcha.
So that's my goal with this one is it's going to slowly progress. You'll probably see pouches slowly change out, and my goal is I want it to be all US made.
Makes sense. And then, so if you guys didn't know, Bill is left-handed, so that's why the primary.
That's why you see all of them are over here is because I'm weird. I actually right-handed, and I actually shoot a pistol right-handed, but rifles I shoot predominantly left. I'm not really sure why. I think it came down to I started shooting when I was about 8 years old, and when I went with my grandfather. I am predominantly right-handed, and a lot of you know a lot of guns' weight is in the front of the gun, so I just kind of naturally held the heavier part with my right hand, and that's basically how I shoot now. I mean, I can switch back and forth, but I can more accurate my left hand than I am my right hand.
Gotcha. Makes a lot of sense. When I build a loadout, the first thing I start with is my gun. because that's usually the first thing that I pick when I'm going to play. It's what gun am I going to use, and the reason why I think about gun first is because it's the one thing that's going to be in your hand for the most amount of time, and that's the most important because obviously you're shooting at other people with your airsoft gun. So I always start with the concept of what gun I'm going to use. Am I using an AK? Am I using an MP5? Am I using an M4?
Didn't think about that.
Yeah. So I start with the bare essentials and I go with that. So naturally, a lot of the answer for me and for a lot of people out there is going to be an M4. So my kit and my gear generally tailors towards the priority of the gun.
Mhm.
What does the gun need? I almost treat it like a living organism. I got to feed it. I got to keep it alive. So from there, I'll say, okay, I'm going to use my M4 today. I'm going to need M4 mags. How many M4 mags am I going to use? So that's where, you know, I guess a little experience comes into play, and just knowing your field and where you're playing at. Is the game 3 hours long? Is it 20 minutes long? You know, how many mags am I going to use, and how much do I shoot? From there, for example, if I go to like SC Village, I'll have probably 4 extra magazines on me. High caps if I'm feeling lazy. That's like, I don't know, probably 1,500, 2,000 rounds.
That's a lot of BBs.
And that's more than enough. So I'm also thinking, I tailor it to the gun as my first choice, and then I will tailor it to the field and the duration. Those are the first things that I think about when I choose a loadout. Because if I'm on the field at Lion Claws for 3 hours nonstop, have to have water, have to have extra BBs, have to have an extra battery in case the other one runs out. Those are like mandatory to keep that beast, the gun, alive. And obviously the second thing would keep me alive. I got to drink water to survive.
Yeah. I always run no matter where I go, whether it's SC Village, indoor, anything. I actually always fill up my hydration carrier, mainly because a lot of times it's like some of those fields you only have a short duration. So I'm like, man, just drink as I'm like loading and stuff like that because I don't really take off my plate carrier that often. The only time I do is when it's like, okay, we got a long break. I'm gonna just sit in this chair and potato.
I got you. So here, this is what I'll do, I guess, to make it easy. I'll walk you guys through my mental process of how I chose. This is the actual loadout that I wore for Lion Claws. So first thing was what gun I was going to use. I was going to use my M4, so I went with the M4. Being at Lion Claws, that is 3-hour game break and then another 3-hour game, so I had to have a hydration carrier. So that's what I got on the back here. Pretty basic hydration carrier with water. Because this was a MilSim event, one of the biggest MilSim events of the year, I didn't want to wear my basic Blue Force Gear chest rig because I felt like that'd completely take away the theme of it, And we were woodland, so actually I didn't wear these BDUs. I wore woodland ones. So I went with a Cry JPC because I've been a big fan of that since we got the Lancer JPCs in. They just work well. So number one was magazines. So my first thought was I need a lot of magazines if I'm out there for 3 hours. Can you pass me that battle belt? Okay, so what I decided to do, guys, was I had this magazine here, and this was my oh crap magazine for immediate quick reload. I really like this system because that draw is super quick and super easy, or you can just get the mag up and in there. But I know a lot of you guys are thinking that uses way too much molly space, and you're completely right. If I wanted to maximize my ammo, what I could have done was put a double stack or like a triple stack to have even more rounds here. So I thought about doing that, but what I really wanted, besides this, was I needed a grenade in my immediate area of operation, but immediate reach. That's what I use this pouch for. This is actually a normal M4 closed top magazine pouch. Let's see.
Man, it's stuck. There we
go. This is what it is. Because I found that Thunder Bees fit in these things perfectly. Can you see that out of the camera? It's just an M4 pouch, and it fits 2 M4 magazines. I use it for Thunder Bees because it works really, really well. Oh, yeah, thank you. I need this piece. Thank you, Frank. Yeah. Frank's got my back.
Thanks, Frank.
So I threw a good amount of Thunder Bees at people at Lion Claws, and that was really helpful because I had the grenade right there. I didn't have to fiddle for it because I've been to the AO before and I know what it's like when you're super close up and you need a grenade quick. So grenade here and then 4 magazines here. Dead rag is mandatory, so the Elite Force dead rag is really nice. This is out of the way. American flag patch because America, pens for marking maps and stuff like that. So I chose this plate carrier because it goes with my style of Low profile, quick, not too hot because it was like 90 degrees out there for most of the weekend.
Which wasn't that cooler than it normally is for Lion Claws?
It was actually a really good weekend for weather.
Yeah.
Like, it was less windy and less hot than it normally is. So this is where I had, I guess, the bulk of my ammunition. So this feeds the beast of the gun. That's what this was. And then this kept me hydrated. And then what I had here is this is the battle belt. Oops.
Party belt.
The battle belt that I wore to complement it. This is actually Mark's battle belt, but he was kind enough to let me borrow it. Mandatory dump pouch. Extra magazines, 2 more on the side, but the thing about these mags is this was kind of hard to reach because it was on my far left side. So this was kind of like a last resort type thing. What I did here, because for a 3-hour game, this honestly is not a lot of mags. I've been to Lion Claw before, and I've used 16 mags on me in one of those 3-hour sessions, and I ran out of ammo. What I decided to do, instead of carrying like 16 magazines, I decided to go with these 4 primary and the 2 backup, and then instead of carrying mags, I carried a bag of BBs with me and 2 speed loaders.
Okay, different strategy.
Yeah, so I physically carried the same amount of ammo, but what I did then was you'd get shot and there's like a 5-minute respawn time that you have to sit and wait. I just sat there and just because and I did that on purpose because in the past I'd sit there for 5 minutes and I'm just like, yeah, I just don't do anything, which is nice to relax, but I wanted to take advantage of that 5 minutes specifically, and that advantage gave me the chance to carry less gear up here, which I liked, not having to carry more magazines, but enough to get engaged in a heavy firefight. That was my thinking for Lion Claws. This battle belt worked really good. And then the other piece that I loved was this new SAARP, I believe. I might be getting the acronym wrong. This is a Kydex holster for an M4. It's a holster for your M4. So you keep the magazine in and you literally drop your M4 in and it holds it in place, and it holds it pretty solid. And so I had this on my right side like this on the battle belt here, and that was great because I used the map you know, almost every like 30 minutes or so. And so I'd pull out the map and I'd holster my M4 and then I'd do whatever I needed to do, or I'd reload my BBs. So that's kind of how I picked this loadout and why I picked it. Now, if you guys are picking a loadout, you know, I would recommend asking you guys those questions. What gun are you using? What field are you playing out? How long is the game going to last? How many mags are you going to need? If you're playing super quick 5-minute games, you know, get a chest rig. That's super minimal. And I say that with the thought of functionality over looks. You know, chest rigs don't look the coolest, but if you want just the most functional, and let's say you only need two high caps, you can get a basic chest rig and be done with it. You know. If you're building a loadout and you're going to go like, oh, I'm going to reenact a Navy SEAL or a Marine, then, you know, obviously all these concepts are completely out the window.
Yeah,
you're just trying to mimic, you know, something else like that. Yeah, what are your other thoughts?
I like your thinking with the Lion Claws, because my thinking is just load it all up, don't bring extra BBs. But like I said, that's what I love about Airsoft. Everyone kind of has their own style. You have your style, which is obviously like completely different than I run, and that's what I love about this game is like no 2 people are identical unless you're a team. That doesn't count. But like in terms of what you want and your styling and like what's comfortable for you is going to be different. So what Daniel runs is different than what I run, which is different from what Mark runs. We're all different, and I love that about Airsoft. Now, my thinking is, obviously you can tell I am completely different style of thinking when it comes to loadouts. Places I play generally run the games like will run around an hour, sometimes more. And the thing is, I carry so many mags because, like, I mean, and this isn't even all of my mags. If you've seen some of the videos, I also have a leg rig with another 4, so that means 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. So that's actually less than I used to carry.
So let me ask you, how often do you use all of those mags?
Not depending on where I go, because I've had games at like what's the field? Jericho, Arizona. I had one where I went through everything I had, and I was down to my pistol because we were just holding a bunker for literally 45 minutes and people coming from everywhere. So I kind of prepare for everything.
See, and I think that's a really good concept that you brought up, because my my approach is the opposite. It's the minimalist. What is gonna just get me by so I can engage in the basic firefights that I don't need to carry a whole lot, but I'll carry extra BBs and speed loaders if I need to. Bill, you want to have everything available, so if you have 200 guys coming at you, you can just shoot for days and hold them all off.
Yeah.
You know? That scenario, that's where I'm screwed.
And also, I mean, you can see the difference just between our guns.
Oh yeah.
You have your stuff is
like
very lightweight,
slim.
small, minimalist. I have, well, if I had it, I would have grabbed it, but Mark's working on it for me. I have a full length M16 with a scope, and like it's mainly for long range, but I keep it at around 400 FPS so I can still engage really close. Otherwise, if I was over the 400, I'd have to switch to a sidearm, which sometimes I don't want to do.
Yeah.
I mean, and like I'm down to preparedness too. Let me see if I can get this. If you see this little pack that's right here in my pink boxers, excuse me, I actually have some paracord in there, a little first aid kit, and a snakebite kit. I started carrying a snakebite kit because I played one game at Jericho in Pendleton, and my brother-in-law came running out after he heard the a rattlesnake. So from that day on, we're like, all right, we're carrying a snakebite kit. So, I mean, like I said, I kind of prepare for everything.
Yeah, it's really just I think the best way we can sum it up, it's better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it. Me, if I get bit by a snake out there, I'm freaking screwed, you know. So that's cool that, you know, you're prepared for all that too. But I like the fact that, you know, you go still for the functionality. That, you know, there's a chance you might need all those magazines. I've slimmed down my kit and profile so much that I don't even run a pistol anymore, just because trade. Because I'll carry a pistol with me all game long and never use it, and then I'm just emptying, you know, 3 pistol magazines on the gun because it's just like, you know, I never use it. So I got tired of that, so I was just like, let me ditch it. But I have been screwed, and this is the lesson that I guess is my negative impact of my thinking is I've been screwed in games before because my gun goes down and I don't have a secondary. You know, and in that scenario, you know, Bill might be covered if he has a pistol, and I'm just like, I'm out of the game. Or, you
and
know,
like I always, when I run a pistol, I try to at some point in the game, I'm like, all right, I'm going to use my pistol at some point. So I'll even, like, I'll set my rifle down in, like, a corner, and I'll go walk around very quietly and try and just get people with a pistol. Because my pistol, I actually keep track of what I get with the pistol, because it's just kind of fun to be like, I think my KWA has, like, 20 something marks. Yeah, I take my knife and I scratch into the paint. How many people I've gotten with the pistol, just because not many people use pistols that often, unless you go to, like, shotgun pistol night, but I never do that because it's usually during the week, and I'm like, I'm tired.
And see, I think that makes a lot of sense, too, especially since you have a full-length M16, that I think
sometimes those rooms you cannot, I'm like, wall.
So I think that goes back to, I guess, my concept of what gun are you using first? My gun's an M4, so I can maneuver in long range and short and TQB environments okay. Bill, he chose his big M16, so it's a great idea that, like, you need to have a pistol with you. So now if you need to have a pistol with you, part of your gear and the concept of thinking is how are you going to carry that pistol. So how do you, I mean, what's your choice?
Normally, I run a leg rig, and the thing is, I'm trying to figure out a different way of doing it, because I got the Condor 2-strap one, but the problem is it kind of falls down.
Wobbles?
Yeah. So I'm almost thinking what I might do is get not the Costa leg rig, the high-speed gear leg pan. I think that's what it's called. The single strap, because it can sit up higher, and when it's been found, you know, when it sits up higher, it doesn't drop as much. It's got more rubber on it, so it's more secure. And I'm thinking of actually getting a Molly adapter for the Black Hawk Serpa for the Glock, because I run a G18, which unfortunately for that is because it's got the selector switch on the side, I can't use full size like hard holsters because that switch gets in the way. So I'm slowly changing my kit from, like, I'm going, I guess you could say I'm going a little bit more minimalist. I'm thinking of actually just getting 2 of those leg rigs, changing out the one so it's all Molly for my extra mags, and then the other one where it's just for the holster and maybe an extra pistol mag.
I gotcha.
But I mean, I like leg rigs, but at the same time, I don't. I like the leg rigs because it gets some stuff out of the way. So, like, I've had a lot of people like, well, why don't you put your holster on your hip or your mags on your hip? I actually, when I shoot, I will lean my body over, and if I have that, it digs into my sides, because I run a battle belt as well. But I actually, the only thing I have on it is I have some Thunder Bees in the back, which I very rarely use. I tried to keep the sides open so I could lean. The whole point of my battle belt was because my actual physical belt was digging into my body after playing. So I'm like, okay, I need something with a little bit more padding, a little bit more support. So I got the battle belt, and it doesn't move. It stays in the same spot I put it in. It's just those leg rigs then are just like, I'm going to droop.
Yeah.
And then, you know, you got the straps dangling around your knees, and you got to stop. You're like, all right, let me pull them up. Let me pull them up. All right, we're good.
That makes sense. Yeah, I think that definitely goes, because it's hard to tell you guys how to build a tactical, you know, loadout on your own. But, you know, ask your guys those questions. You know, what gun are you using? Are you using a pistol? Do you need a holster? Where are you going to put it? Where are you playing and how long? You know, longer games, more ammo and water. You know, shorter games, maybe not as much too. And then I think the last question too that I would recommend for you guys to ask yourself is, are you trying to imitate any specific loadout? Are you trying to, you know, imitate a Marine or a Navy SEAL? Because I think this is the kicker. When you can tie in all those questions of the functionality of, you know, what gun I'm going to use, how many mags and water and all that, and then tailor those necessities of function to match specific pouches or plate carriers to go with that loadout, you know, I think those are the best and the funnest, you know, loadouts that you can create. If you can answer all those questions for yourself and answer them all, you know, to your liking, you know, like this, you know, this looks a little bit more modern. You know, I wasn't going for any specific loadout, but I know the JPC is kind of, I guess, Gucci, you know, plate carrier at the moment and stuff like that. So it looks cool and it works really well. So I like that. When I was at Lion Claws, I felt like I looked cool, and I really like the 45-degree pouch because that's really unique, so that stands out for sure. But all the function of what I was talking about before is all there. And so it kind of tied together in this big, you know, and it took time and it took thinking and it took a lot of browsing on our website to see what pouches are available, and, you know, looking at inspiration from photos and videos online too. So
was it they say form follows function?
Yes.
So there you go. You build your loadout.
Wait, shouldn't it be the other way?
All right, function follows.
No, you're right. No, you're right.
Form follows function. Yeah, because form refers to the look of it.
Yeah.
So build something that's going to be functional for you. This may be actually something that sounds strange, but you know why I like this loadout? Armrests.
That's true.
That's why I like these pouches, because I can rest my arms when I'm just sitting there doing nothing. It's another just random functionality of it. But remember, build it to what you prefer, what feels good for you. Don't, I mean, unless you're in a team where they have like a requirement, like, okay, you know, it needs to be this color, maybe this plate carrier, stuff like that. You know, do what you like.
Let's see if we can take some questions. If you guys have some questions on tactical gear, we'll come back in a second because it takes a minute for the video to actually relay over. But I know there's a lot of different ways to do tactical gear, so it's really just getting inspiration from, you know, videos and
Google.
You know, Google, you know, photos online, and, you know, I watch a lot of, you know, airsoft videos online and stuff like that, and follow a bunch of different Facebook pages. So I'll see somebody come up with something that I haven't seen before, and it'll be creative. I'm like, oh, that looks kind of cool. Maybe I can try that. And it's really about getting the gears turning of like, okay, that looked cool. So that's the first thing that caught my eye. Why does it look cool? And why did that player or user use that stuff in that specific location? You know, I'll try to envision myself in it. And so like the 45-degree thing, you know, that's one thing I actually did not like until I tried it, and then I was just like,
oh, that works.
So easy, you know. I like the fact that it's like sticking halfway out, so I don't have to like dig in and try to get it. So let's try to jump to some questions. Yes, I am Chinese. I'm Chinese and half Mexican. Somebody's talking about that. Let me refresh this page really quick. So someone's asking, is the Lancer Tactical JPC good or nah? This is the JPC I personally used at Lion Claws for, it was like 9 hours of gameplay. It worked just fine for me. I had no issues with it. The cool thing about it is you have these inserts, built-in magazine pouches, so you can fit 3 of them right away. The other thing a lot of people don't know is, I can do it, kind of hard to see.
Oh, I didn't really notice that.
This is an admin pouch.
Oh, well, there you go. We can get it open. There you go.
And then you have elastic in there that's designed for pistol magazines. So the other option, if I wanted to, is, and I thought about this, I could have slung my gun and then have a holster on that right side for a pistol. So I could have had a pistol there, pistol magazines in there. That takes up like little to no extra room. So that was really good. So yeah,
cool.
I totally recommend the Lancer JPC. The question was, what's better, replica gear or real steel gear? Because somebody was asking that before. Of course, if you can get the real Cry JPC, freaking go for it and give it to me because I want one.
Even if you can find them secondhand.
Yeah, definitely. Harris is asking, anyone know an amazing flashlight that is super bright and has a strobe option? We sell a UTG LED flashlight that's $80. LED bulb, 200 lumens, and it does strobe and a bunch of other cool stuff. So I would definitely recommend that as well. Let's see what else. Do we have any other tactical gear? Here's a good question. What's your opinion on carrying pods full of ammo in your rig instead of bags of BB? Pods. I'm wondering if you're actually talking about like paintball pods.
Yeah, are you talking about the?
I imagine not, because those are big. No, those are really big.
Yeah.
You can carry probably 20, 30,000 BBs in one of those. It's a good idea because let's say you cannot afford a bunch of magazines, nor you have a lot of pouches, because there's another thing in terms of tactical gear. Let's say I want to run 10 magazines.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I need for 10 magazines?
You need 10 pouches.
Exactly. So that's something else you got to consider. And all that naturally gets more expensive. So a good solution is carrying pods of BBs. If you have like a bag of BBs, sometimes you can roll it up. But I've carried like the Elite Force bottles of BBs just like in a pouch or something like that, or just a water bottle. So that and a speed loader.
Well, it's the I think there is a Pantac like water bottle holder that would be perfect for either the Vulcan ones or the Elite Force ones, because I see that question all the time on the product Q&A. Someone's like, will this fit an Elite Force BB bottle? And the thing is, it will. I believe it's also got an elastic or a pull tab so you can pull it tight so it doesn't, when you're running, all of a sudden just shoot out of your pocket.
Yeah. The other thing that I've seen is, just a normal water bottle will work just fine, but Elite Force has the 2700 count of BBs. So I've seen people buy those BBs specifically. I've heard them talk to it in the store. Use those BBs and then reuse that bottle and just fill it up to keep it on the field. So that's something that's really nice. What I will probably do is when that Elite Force speed loader comes out, I'll probably honestly even ditch this battle belt, run 4 mags at like a Milsim event, and just keep that thing on my back, which holds like thousands of BBs. Reload my mags.
Is that the one that
It's like, it looks like a weird shotgun.
Yeah.
You put a mag
Upside
in it,
down
and you do 3 pumps. 1 pump loads 40 BBs immediately, so it's just like BBs for days.
That means I think these would only take 2 pumps then. I think these hold 80.
Gotcha, but still, that's like super quick.
That is quick. I'd love to have one of those. When it comes out, I could load mags instantly.
Christian's saying, can you guys do maybe a tactical gear heads on the soldiers from Godzilla? There was actually some cool loadouts on there too that I definitely like. I think I saw a Cry JPC in that movie too, so maybe we can look into that. Godzilla bugged me. I feel like there's a lot of plot holes in there.
Oh, really? I haven't seen it yet.
I personally would not recommend it as much, but I don't know, it was okay.
Hey, I saw a picture that was at the movie theater and it said Godzilla with 100% less Matthew Broderick.
Which was 100% better, by the way. But the special effects were amazing. Like, the final fight scene was so cool. Godzilla was just like, super badass.
I have to see it then.
So, I don't know, maybe I'm
wait until the
overthinking
DVD. One out of 2.
Yeah. So, okay, here's a question that isn't about tactical gear, but this also goes to the personal preference. Kevin's asking, functioning PEQ-16 on the top or on the side rail? Personal preference. But thing is, I'll tell you, in terms of trends that I've seen personally, a lot of PEC boxes have been going on top of the rail system. So, we're talking literally about the positioning, but, if you look at a lot of photos and videos out there, a lot of people are putting it on the top. And you have a red dot that goes over it or something like that, too. Maybe that's not for you. Maybe you don't want it to mess with your iron sight, so put it on the side. They'll still look cool, too. And this is one of those tricky things because there's not like a right or wrong answer.
It's just kind of like preference.
Where would you put the PEC box?
I think I would put it probably on the top. Well, it also depends on your hand. If I was putting it on an M16, I could honestly put it wherever because my hands isn't going to be there.
True.
But if it's an M4, I'd probably put it on the top because I do switch back and forth between hands. So if it's on one side, I'm going to either my thumb or something's going to be hitting it and it's going to be in the way. So I would probably put it on top. Also, I kind of like symmetry kind of.
Mm.
So on top it's a little bit more symmetrical, but
I guess it will make it balanced too. I mean, it's not a lot of weight, but you can feel that.
Well, yeah, it depends on the battery too. If let's say it was a 9.6 in there, it's going to be a lot heavier than if you had a 7.4.
I got you.
So on top, it's going to be a little bit more balanced. I mean, you're still talking though like an inch over, but that's still enough. Like if it could bug you.
Yeah, that makes sense. N17 is the best. Is asking, what do you put inside your plate carriers as a plate? I've seen some people use real SAPI plates, which are hundreds of dollars. That's pretty rare.
Hard to get.
Yeah, hard to get. Most commonly, I would say we sell the fake SAPI plates, which are just plastic and lightweight. And the purpose of that, I actually have one in here right now. You can hear it. It keeps the plate carrier is standing up. Otherwise, it might slouch or whatever. So it feels really good against my chest because it's holding everything exactly where it needs to be as one unit. The other things we just got in, we talked about that. This is the foam. So, I mean, this is the same shape and size of a real plate that goes into the plate carriers, whether they're replicas or real ones. It's a medium.
Yeah, it's a medium, and I think that one is a medium.
Yeah,
too.
So this should actually.
It should fit perfect in that.
Yeah.
And
so with the he's asking, do some people use yoga mats? I've seen people use the yoga mats or foam material, and what's nice about that is this will keep its shape, but it's still flexible. That there's been times when I'm prone on my back and I need to go up like that. Yeah, exactly. And in real life, heck yeah, if you're in a real combat situation, you're gonna wear a SAPI plate. Yeah, because you want that protection. But for airsoft, I like the flexibility of something like foam.
I use mine's cardboard.
Michael's asking, can I return my True Spec Combat shirt and pants if they don't fit? Yeah, absolutely. Don't take off any of the tags. Just try them on right away. And you guys can return that stuff. I believe it's within 30 days. I forget. You were in CS.
I know. I want to say I thought it was 45 because that's when the warranty is for everything. So, but it's definitely, that's something, depending on when you bought it, have your order number and call in to our customer service department.
I gotcha. Danny, you made a comment that I really like. He says you have 10 of those, the small pods for paintball, which fit only 10 paintballs. I know what you're talking about for the stock guns.
Oh!
That's genius. Okay. And it fills 1.5 speed loaders in half a second. That's actually really smart. So I still have some of those from my paintball days, so that's actually a good idea.
I was thinking the big old monsters.
Syndicate is asking, how do I like the 45-degree magazine pouch? Yeah, I like it a lot. It's just such a quick draw. When I have a gun, it's just super easy. I think what I like the most is, even with a mag pull, you have like this. That's a horrible grip, something like that. This, you immediately have full control of the magazine. What other comments do we have?
Just loaded a few of them.
Why do you all get your vests at? Why or where? I think it's where.
I think it's supposed to be where.
I get it here from GI just because we carry so much tack here. I can get anything I need here.
Yep. Got this one here too.
Yeah. Let me refresh this page. I think we're almost out of time. But what do you guys do for loadouts? I'm kind of curious. And how do you guys build your loadouts? We talk a lot about how we build our own loadouts. We're looking directly at the comments now, so if you guys comment, we'll do our best to engage with them. But how do you guys build your loadouts? What is your mindset? What is your thinking? What works for you? So we'll see if what we got coming up. Here's a comment from Chris. What would you say to people who have clashing camos? To them, it's airsoft. So if you have a top and a bottom BDU that doesn't match, that's fine. I used to play airsoft in jeans this year.
I did I did too.
And for me, I just want to go out and have fun and shoot people. So if I look like a schmuck, I don't personally care. I know other people will kind of laugh and snicker at that, which...
Hey, who's laughing if you hit them and they don't even know where it came from?
Exactly. Actually, I kind of like that because I'll go out and play, and sometimes people will be like, oh, it's Dan, and I'll be in this jeans and a shirt and then my Blue Force Gear chest rig, and they'll look at it and they're like, is that what you're running today? I was like, yeah.
Hey man, that's contractor loadout. They wear whatever they want.
Yeah.
That's why I have the black plate carrier contractor. Looks cute.
Looks cute. Okay, let's see. Okay, here are the comments. I think it just refreshed. It says...
Oh, I'll answer that. Okay, normally it says, Bill, why are you wearing black gear with multicam? I don't normally wear multicam. I grabbed this to put it on because it looked cool. Normally I run a long sleeve, I think it's a 511 tactical combat shirt, And so I run black with tan pants because I do kind of a contractor loadout. So this is my personal vest, and that's why this isn't my personal multicam.
Yeah, we kind of we had some of the gear in the car, so we threw it on because we wanted to talk about it. There was a comment. Jet the Boss saying is he bases off his stuff off Navy, Marine, or Navy SEAL loadouts with lots of ARR1. ARR1's really cool, and ARR2 that's definitely a newer camo. That a lot of people are getting into. So I mean, there's almost like trends that go with the camouflage and the the different vests and stuff like that. I am 11. What loadout should I have? Ooh, that's hard.
It's based a lot on honestly your size.
Your size. So find something that's a little bit slimmer as well. And everything else we talked about. What gun do you have? And go from there. Peanuts is saying, have either of you shot the G4A5 URX3 DMR? Yes, great gun, get it. Oh, okay. Halo Pro uses a real 6094 and a Mayflower APC. At the Op Rec game, I used a 6094 from one of the VA guys. That was a super nice plate.
Oh, really?
That was so nice. And I believe it was, who makes that? OBT.
Yes, I think he's one of the British training.
So really nice plate carrier, and that's when we're talking about real steel gear, where these plate carriers are like $300-400 if not more.
I think this one retails for $250 normally.
And so the other thing to keep in mind is like just because it's inexpensive doesn't mean it's like real gear. Like Condor, for example, dozens of plate carriers that are like $60-70, maybe a little bit more. About 90% of all Condor sales go to law enforcement and military. So anybody that tells you that it's not real gear, that's ridiculous. I've been to their warehouse; it's insane. So I mean,
and their stuff, honestly, it's pretty good. I had my last plate carrier is 5 years old and it's still going strong. I just wanted to change it up.
Yeah, so that's another good point I think we can make. We're out of time actually, but just because you want to build a cool loadout doesn't mean you have to spend hundreds or thousands of dollars. You can build an awesome loadout with like Condor gear, for example, that is real military and law enforcement gear for not as much. So that's another good way to go about it too. Let's see, last few comments. Some Armies is saying he builds his loadouts off Woodland. Some people are saying that they build it for, what was it, light and comfortable. I like that RD blade. So light and comfortable, so I like that. That's just straight function. Spetsnaz is saying gun to the chest rig outside for my loadout. Okay, no, there's another one. N17 saying, I keep my vest very simple, just mag pouches and grenade pouches. I play indoor and outdoor games, max 1 hour. So yeah, that kind of stuff I agree with. Looks isn't the priority, more just straight function. How is the angled grip? I like the angled grip. That's more personal.
I really like it too. It's a different grip, but it's really comfortable.
Yes. Pearson's asking how much I weigh. This is not for knowing what plate carriers. I weigh 165 and I'm 5'9", so that gives you an idea. This fits me very, very comfortable.
And if you want an example, I am 6 foot, about 230.
Oh,
this one fits me great actually. And this is a medium.
Oh, nice. So I didn't mean to interrupt. This is from Mohan. He is saying he is a specialist in the U.S. Army, 19 Delta Scout, and his units have their PEC box on the top.
Well, there you go.
So that's good to know. And, once again, we're airsofters. We imitate the real guys that really do this stuff. So a lot of the loadouts and where we put our accessories and how we set up our gear, we're imitating them because they are our heroes. There's the guys that we look up to. So we just want to be cool like them for sure. But otherwise, I think we're out of time. We've gone a little bit too long. This has been a fun live show.
Oh, it was.
I like it. It's a little warm.
You know what was nice? Because this is the brand new plate carrier, and I got to wear it and break it in a little bit.
I know. It's cool. You're just showing off for the rest of us.
I really am.
Okay. All right. We hope you guys enjoyed this show. Feel free to leave more comments below. Remember, guys, I'll do a post on my work Facebook page, Airsoft GI Space Dan, a couple hours before the show. If you guys have comments and questions, we apologize if we can't get to all of them because it's just insane. So find that post before the show, and then today I went through like 4 pages of questions, which was nuts. But that was fun.
Knocked them out quick.
Yeah, I'm like a boss. Yeah. All right, guys, have a good night. See you guys later.
See ya.
And close.